All right, ladies and gentlemen, clicking into game number 1, Tournament Series. I love how GiveUAnxiety likes to title his games, but and his Twitch streams. He always has a game browser open, just telling everyone what he's doing. But the first match will be Fertile Crescent. This is a best-of-5 series between, as I said, GiveUAnxiety and Kaister for the New World Championships Round of 64 qualification event. Absolutely. I'm joined by Kaiserklein, who will be casting with me for this series.
Indeed.
Indeed. That's another good word.
Yeah, so that's a best of 5. They vetoed 2 maps.
Yeah, it was Baja California from GiveUAnxiety and New England vetoed by Kaister.
Oh, what a shame, New England.
Yeah, I should have put
Such a funny map to maybe not to play. Sometimes it's a bit annoying with the washes, but to watch it's definitely very funny.
Yeah, I really like it. I really like New England. We should have a New England tournament.
Oh, I think one map in the map pool is fine.
Yeah, okay, you're like, no interjection. One is fine. All right. But it will be Kaister spawning on the bottom of the map in the color green, playing as indeed France, starting with 200 wood there. Explorer. Oh my goodness, we've gotten, I'm not sure, donation bar. That wasn't on the top. I have no idea. That's Riot Coke. Subscribe with a tier 1 subscription. Riot Coke, a regular somewhat on the Escape stream. So thank you very much for subscribing and welcome. I'm not sure if that was a resub or anything like that, but I can see it in the chat. You subscribed, so thank you very much. All of the money raised here, all the money raised here goes to funding more tournaments. So that's good. But GiveUAnxiety on the top of the map. Kaiser playing his, I think, favorite and strongest civilization, the British.
Indeed. Yeah, that's definitely GiveUAnxiety's main civ. Doesn't actually play so many civs, but he plays lots of Brits.
Yeah, I've seen that on his stream a lot.
Kaister is also playing one of his main civs. He plays some Dutch, if I remember correctly, some Sioux, but also a lot of French. So
should be bringing out the big guns early on, and you can do that in this format. I've seen other tournament formats, including the ESOC format, where you might play your strongest civ in the first match, and then if you even if you lose with it, you then can't use it until the reset or something like that. Here, though, you can just open with your best civ. Seems to be the best thing to do because if you do lose, you can still use it.
Yeah, one of these players will be able to play his main civ again, right? The loser of this game. But then again, it's also about the map itself. I'm not sure Brits is very wise civ pick on that map. It's not very high hunt. There's decent stagecoach possibilities. So I'm not sure Brits is the best civ to pick there, but it's definitely a comfort pick for GiveUAnxiety at least.
Wants to start strong, perhaps, given it's his best civ. But you are right, there's not... I mean, this is by no means a low hunt map, but it is quite far from your base, right? It's always kind of difficult to bring it in, so to speak, to rein that hunt in, and then you end up sort of on the sides, and then there's, you're really quite far away from your base, and British, they sort of want to be in their base, right, until they're sort of ready to move on out.
Yeah, it's just like that hunt, for example, is very decent, but it will not really stay under GiveUAnxiety's stun center or something. So he's gonna have one hunt really safe, and then the second one he will already need to move a little bit out of base, and that can be potentially punished by Kaister.
Yeah. God, I'm going to get a bit confused. There's Kaister, there's Kaiser, there's all the Ks in this match. But GiveUAnxiety off to a nice start. He's doing quite well in Age 1 so far. We see 65 coin from him, as well as 40 coin, 50 coin treasure, and now picking up an 80 coin treasure. So GiveUAnxiety flowing in with coin all over the place. Lots of treasure picks. Kaister has been a little bit more conservative with his pickups. He's perhaps been, not come across as many big treasures, or maybe he's just a bit afraid of sort of where the British explorer is. I'm not sure. I wasn't really looking too much, but certainly GiveUAnxiety more treasures here and doing quite well in Age 1. But that's over and done with now. We're now heading up to the Colonial Age. British villagers all here switching over to wood, getting gang saw in now, and I expect to see some manners coming down and collecting the wood he needs for his market upgrades and, of course, the military buildings. Let's take a look at France in the bottom. So for those that missed it here, both going up with the quartermaster for Kaister on, of course, the governor for British. But the French player put down his trading post. He's got his market there and is now getting placer mines. Not gotten hunting dogs yet. Perhaps he hasn't. I think he didn't find any coin treasures and hadn't gathered the coin early on for hunting dogs. He has not researched it yet.
Well, it was a TP start, right?
Yeah.
So he just built his market now, and he decided to start with placer mines. Probably, yeah, because he doesn't have any gold yet. Not a very big deal. The fact that he's got this trading post, though, is quite a big deal. The wood start means that Brick was able to drop down a market, which is nice, but it's probably not as nice as having that trading post for France. So it's gonna, like, if Green has a fortress agenda, he's gonna be able to spam more shipments with his extra XP. So
yeah.
Nice start for France. But as you mentioned, as a result of that, GiveUAnxiety was able to pick up more treasures just because Kaister was going for that trading post.
Oh, yes, that's right. But GiveUAnxiety, looks like he's got 2 forward villagers here. One of them came and built this manor and spawned a second one. And looks like we're having a very forward, quite aggressive barracks here. The outpost from the Governor Age up now coming in behind, going to build on top of the barracks there. Controlling a hunt and a mine in the middle of the map. This is quite nice here. But also, this could be troublesome for Kaister. I don't think he's seen it yet. He's looking in the base now, and he's seen sort of 700 wood on the floor and the 200 gold there. He knows that there is 200 gold, but he can't see the tower in base, so he probably does expect that it's at least out on the map somewhere, and might well expect something because of that. But he hasn't seen this forward barracks yet. We'll see how he responds to it. He's opening 4 CDBs and some cavalry there. Let's switch over to units in Q and see where this goes.
I'm kind of confused about something that in units lost, there's no unit lost for Kaister, but he doesn't have a native scout. So somehow the native scout disappeared.
Units lost. Let's take a look.
So, like, I guess he just... that's maybe why he didn't scout the front base, because he somehow lost his native scout.
Huh. I wonder where that went. Do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not there, but
maybe
anyway.
Maybe if you lose it to Mother Nature, it doesn't appear there or something. I don't have. Yeah, that's really interesting. He doesn't.
Yeah.
But you don't really want to be. You know, if he'd had his scout, certainly be much easier finding these barracks and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then you would probably start with the racks yourself. It's just safer to go musketeers yourself if you're getting musketeer rushed. Although now he could be taking that fight instead of raiding. Raiding is also a good choice. Like, you can totally go do that. But honestly, like, GiveUAnxiety is taking a really big risk sieging with only 5 musk at like 6 minutes 30.
Yeah, you know, 5 cav popping out of there. They're going to take them down quite easily, right? And yeah, it seems a little bit... We'll see where it goes. 5 cav now in GiveUAnxiety's base, looking around the back. Not finding any villagers today. GUA brought that hunt in quite nicely. He's killed quite a lot of them, but that's so they don't, I suppose, run away. Very easy for that to move out. But more musks now arriving. It's like
no CDB gonna die, but that's a like 2 Hussar pop, and they just died.
Stood on top of the... Yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, not looking very good for Kaister there. He's gonna need Minutemen, probably.
He is,
or then
however...
he can also decide to just let his stable go down and just switch to musketeers.
Yeah, he's gotten his barracks up now, so maybe this isn't super bad, him losing the stable. Obviously not ideal, but back in, you know, GiveUAnxiety's base up here, Kaiser, he's got 5 cav. He has been doing a good job of idling those vills. The cav are not going to siege the manor, but they have been active, trying to keep the vills busy. Back home, though, looks like Minutemen, crossbowmen coming out, and going to use that in combination with some villagers. Has 6 villagers in the town centre as well to try and hold this pressure here.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate. The crossbows popped in melee mode on top of the musk, and they're really no good in melee mode. But they're gonna do the job anyway. You know, like, he's just kind of cleaning up. Meanwhile, raiding GiveUAnxiety gonna kill Villager right now. I'm not sure if he killed any others. He's killed one Bill so far, but he also cleaned up 18 Musketeers now with TC Fire and his crossbows popped. So
yeah,
still looking kind of okay for GiveUAnxiety just because he like killed the stable and some hussars and stuff. But well, I don't know about that push though. That's really a bit cocky.
yeah.
I don't think he can push with that.
Yeah, there could be units about to spawn. 2 longbows, 1 in each, in queue at these barracks. And of course, you know, with that outpost and the ability for home city shipments, it's just, yeah, it seems a bit ambitious to be pushing now. But yeah, it did come out quite on. You did that 8 crossbow shipment saved his bacon, so to speak. Those 18 musks going down. Didn't pay for, you know, didn't get away with it for free. Did lose 5 cav and a couple of other units, and as you said, his stable. But in a fine position right now. GiveUAnxiety still has that presence in the middle of the map. He's dealt with those raids now by the looks of it. And let's take a look. Now that that sort of dust has settled, so to speak. Oh, GiveUAnxiety's got some longbow and a 6 longbow shipment as well. Looks like he might be looking to push in. But before we see, yeah, here comes Green. He's coming out on the map as well. But longbows, exceptional range and very strong against musketeers. No, not going to fire off a volley there. Green veering off to the left whilst GiveUAnxiety walks in. Looks like he is going to find a couple of CDBs trying to gather food. There is going to take one of them out. There's no more food in Kaister's base. Yeah. This is not ideal.
Thing. Like, he was able to buy time with his crossbow pop to just ship 700 gold and try to age, but he doesn't have any more food in his base, and he's on berries, which is very slow. We have a... now.
Kaiser, would you say it's berry slow?
Oh yeah. I wouldn't dare and say that. It's just way too funny. I might just like get a heart attack. That's very unfortunate.
All right then. Yeah, that's not ideal. We'll see what GUA wants to do, but I think.
Well, he can't. Well, first we gotta wait until the end of the timer, I guess, and then GiveUAnxiety can take the win, or we can replay it.
Yeah.
Hopefully we will replay it, but also gotta see if Kaister's net is gonna come back after that.
I think it would be very well. In my humble opinion, you can add your thoughts as well, but it feels like Kaiser, GiveUAnxiety, very much in the lead at the moment. Given that his opponent's on berries and he's killed, you know, a couple of villagers, a couple of CDBs have gone down. I think GUA.
I think he's ahead, but it's not necessarily game winning. Like, Kaister is gonna age now, and he's gonna ship something, and then you don't know what happens. Like, so in my opinion, we can't really give the win to GiveUAnxiety for that. I mean, how should I say? He can take the win because Kaister dropped, but we can't really conclude that GiveUAnxiety would have won that game.
That's fair, yeah.
But anyway, it's up to him to take the win or not. So we're just, yeah, we're gonna see. That's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. Well. So now we gotta just wait and see if Kaister at least comes back online. That's kind of sad because it was really the most. I think it was the most interesting moment in the game when France was gonna age, a bit of trouble, but at the same time maybe gonna be able to like ship falconets or something.
and we could have seen some nice action. It was really the worst moment for connection loss, but
Yeah, just as the game was sort of really getting going, so to speak.
yeah.
I've been playing a lot recently. I'm actually really, really enjoying it.
Yeah, I've seen you host some 1v1s on RE
Yeah, well,
quite a
that's
bit.
RE is like the only place you can find games, which is annoying.
Yeah, that's true.
I would
Oh,
much.
Kaister is here. Okay. Yeah, it's not that easy to find games at like captain level on EP. Sometimes you can, but sometimes not necessarily easy. Hotel Wi-Fi. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I was reading his scheduling thread. He's currently in India for work, so it's not ideal, but I guess he is able to.
oh yeah, okay. It's just like because it's hotel Wi-Fi, so he can't be sure it's gonna get any better. He can't be sure he's not gonna drop again. I think that's why he wants to just move to map 2, just because I don't know. I just hope the Wi-Fi gets better.
But
Well,
he's on green ping at the moment, so might be okay.
well, it's up to them anyway.
Roboboro just subscribed to ESOC with the 3 months in a row. I like that. ESOC easy and AoE will. Thank you, Robo. I better pop mine in the chat as well. Here we go. Are you ready for my comment? Robo is a noob. There we are.
Oh, nice. Subscribing.
Oh, we're doing. All right, we're redoing game 1.
Yep.
Looks like Kaister currently in India for work, not on an ideal internet connection as he's staying in a hotel. But GUA says let's replay the first game. GUA was in the lead, it looked like, but with France aging, there was always game potential for. Could have gone anywhere, but we'll redo it. Lucky for if not anything else, this is good for the viewer. I think I like.
Yeah, right.
I like
The one
GUA's
thing
attitude.
is that GiveUAnxiety didn't have Hussars, and then Falconets are just very scary. So that's why I think Kaister could win it, but it was GUA favored. But yeah, anyway, we're going in again. In that game 1.
I want a 200 wood start. Let's point this out. Green in the south of the map, similar to before, and has sort of 2 side hunts here, which is kind of good. One a bit further out than the other. But I expect to see that trading post go down again, as we saw in the previous game. There's 50 wood in base. That's pretty nice.
But I think we should rehost this. So what do you think? GiveUAnxiety has like no food. Like that's literally his third hunt in the middle map, while Kaister has like one here, one there, and that one even a bit closer.
Yeah, this is bullshit. I agree. See what he says. Yeah, he ain't playing that.
Yeah, that's too much. He's literally missing a hunt, and his third hunt is also more far away than Kaister's. So yeah, that was a really good start for Kaister, by the way, because he had basically 250 wood. He had a 50 wood treasure in base as well, so he would need to chop only 50 wood for his trading post, which is just really good.
Yeah, I saw that 50 wood.
But yeah, I'm gonna rehost that.
I was about to mess around with the microphone settings, but then I thought, actually, it's fine as it is right now. It could be better, but don't fix what ain't broke, because I'll probably change it and never get it back to where it was before. So we'll. Looks like the stream can't see anything though. That's awkward.
Oh well, so let's go for the third time in this game 1 of the best of 5.
Display capture. Give me a second. Game doesn't seem to be cooperating. Is it going to fix itself? Come on, there it is. Alright, nice. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 1 in this best of 5 series between GiveUAnxiety and Kaister for the round of 64. This is the first round in the New World Championships 2019. We'll see.
Indeed.
We will see. The loser will drop down to the lower bracket where they will play out their remaining games there. If they lose another game in that bracket, they will be eliminated from the tournament. GiveUAnxiety and Kaister. This time GOA spawning on the bottom. Hunts look a lot better. Probably slightly better for GiveUAnxiety. But they've all got 3 hunt reasonably close to their base. So...
yeah, that's not ideal, but I guess we can go with that. Like, that is just quite far, but it's better than previous game for sure. I guess we can go with it.
All right.
I'm not sure honestly. What do you think? Like that's really GiveUAnxiety favorite, honestly. But
yeah, it is a bit, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think we're gonna ask, and honestly, Kaister is probably just gonna say, "Let's play it," just because he dropped, you know. So. I'm pretty sure he will say he plays it anyway, so better ask and play it.
Yeah, they're not terrible, but they're not. Yeah, they're not ideal either. Mind you.
Well, it's like arguably one less hunt that you can bring under TC basically.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah, well, anyway, he's playing it, so we good to go.
All right. Looks like it was a 100 wood start. France electing to build only a house here. No market coming down. Let's take a look at his starting treasures. Looks like Kaister found 30 XP, and that was it actually. 20 coin. Not great. Really not quite as good as that 50 wood that we saw. Oh no, he found 50 wood a bit later on, towards the bottom here. GiveUAnxiety's treasures, similar story, and going to be building just the 1 manor house there. Let's put Control-Shift-F on and see what they come across. 90 wood in the south. Kaister's found it, but looks like he wants to go for that. But GUA is nearby. He's not going for it just yet. Okay, he sees GUA next to the treasure. Probably not going to go for it then. But both players going to stand here and take a few shots at each other.
He just already used his crack shot for the 50 wood, so he couldn't really start this 90 wood. But it was kind of funny because GiveUAnxiety's Explorer was actually following Kaister's Explorer. I mean, they didn't see each other, but he was right behind him. And it would have been really unfortunate if he started that 90 wood. Kaister, not being very aggressive there, could maybe just start the fight and bring his native scout. Kill GiveUAnxiety's Explorer.
He does have a native scout this game. He does, yeah, there it is. It's in base.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to that. The other, whatever, it's here now. Okay, but GiveUAnxiety going to chase him all the way back. You are right. When you're France, though, you do have that extra unit. You can bring that in. And, you know, why not take the fight there? You're British. You don't have to go back and build a trading post or anything later. And if you come out on top, or if your opponent tries to go away, maybe you can get the 90 wood. But whatever's happened, GUA now coming back for that 90 wood. Kaister doesn't seem too interested. I suppose now that he is basically up to the next stage, he does have to build that trading post, so going for this 90 wood is not something he can do anymore. GiveUAnxiety going to pick that up as the British. Do see a forward villager. Looks like that's got no hunts to be herding, so it is coming forward. We'll see where that goes. I expect on top of this hunt nearby his opponent, like we saw in the game 1 before we had to rehost. Going to put down a manor. Yeah. Oh, here comes Kaister. This time he's going to see it. He's going to bring his herds in with this villager. Is he going to get the back herd? Yes, he is! No. What a cheeky bastard!
Kaister's not paying attention there.
Oh, no.
This is going to be like a slaughter of animals there. Like, if they start fighting to herd it, they're gonna kill a bunch of animals. And like we mentioned, Kaister's other hunt is quite far, so he really has to grab that one hunt here.
What do you
He
do
really
as
needs this hunt.
what do you do as France here? I feel like
I feel like you just run base,
I
honestly.
yeah. I feel like I'd open with the Samwise build or something, or double barracks or something. Like,
Honestly, if I saw just two wheels that much forward, I would just drop Thoraxes and go crossbow pike. And Brits can't really handle that. They don't get as many units out unless they go really early in themselves. But uh, yeah, well, we'll see how Kaister reacts to that. At least now he definitely scouted that front base, right? Unlike the previous.
yeah. So he definitely can. Let's switch over to shipments sent here. He's gathering gold, so he's gotten his. He hasn't got hunting dogs or steel traps in just yet, but what? Okay, hunting dogs, and he's getting the gold for steel traps, right? So you're saying you just drop a Rex and go crossbow pike, just the one Rex, and then send 700 wood first?
Well, I was mostly talking about the point if like GiveUAnxiety would have tried to back herd more, you know, if you really have to get that hunt like here.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Bring it in base.
because you have
Now
no.
he can actually defend in base with one Rax, which he's doing.
I see.
But double Rax would also be an option, to be honest.
But would you have double Rexed if it had been pushed further out?
Yeah, I would.
That's interesting. I suppose it's necessary though, because anyway, the hunts are in base, so this is now fine for Kaister. He's not going to be too worried, and he's gotten all of the resources he needs for his steel traps upgrade as well. Looks like we're now switching over to food fully and properly. Oh wow, that villager is sprinting.
Yeah, pulling that wheel nicely to save it.
But it's being forced in and out of that TC quite a lot. There's a lot of gather time being missed out on here. These 5 musks haven't really gone in at all, and they're still achieving quite a lot. But Kaister now has 5 of his own out coming forwards.
Yeah. And most importantly, he managed to bring his hunt in a very nice spot, despite being back-herded at start and starting quite far from his TC. Now he's got a nice hunting location. You know, when you got CDBs, you don't have to worry about being idled if you're right under your TC, because you can tank so many shots. You don't even need to like worry about your bills. So he's gonna be able to gather pretty nicely, and he's got 10 masks. So
but he picks off the low one. He targeted that specifically. So nicely done from GUA.
Yeah, that's one thing you gotta be careful about, obviously.
Yeah, I'd like to have seen that low HP Vil go to the gold mine, but not the case. Yeah. Here comes Kaister now pushing out. Can't really push into this. There's an outpost there, and with potential if we switch over to units in queue. Yeah, 5 musks could have appeared on the front. So he has defended. Is sending 700 wood, so might be staying colonial a little bit longer. We'll see if he adds in a second building with the wood. But GUA now pushing forwards, transitioning to longbow. He's got a longbow in queue at each barracks. In the previous game, we saw him ship 6 longbow after this. In the previous game, he killed a stable, but now his opponent's starting musk a little bit harder. Looks like with that wood, we're going to see crossbows being added in. I like this from Kaister.
Second racks. The second barracks as well, so... He did, when he was not really pushing, but he kind of poked under the tower there with his musketeers. He saw the second racks from GiveUAnxiety, I think, and then he decided to add the second racks himself.
Just to match it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it means he's gonna commit to Colonial. He could still be shipping 700 gold next and age. We'll see.
Yeah.
Could also be 600 wood for some crossbow spam. I'm not sure what we're gonna see there. The prime being that if you start an infantry war in Colonial against Brits, it's gonna be tough just because longbows are way better than crossbows. And their musketeers are also potentially better because of the musketeer upgrades.
Yeah, they do get better, right? And also, I always feel like Colonial versus Brit is tough as well because of the things you're saying, but also they just seem to have more villages than you, right? They've got manor houses and those 2 really nice Vil shipments. But looks like he's going to come out now. Sent 600 wood behind this as well, so does have double crossbow production. He's adding in a stable on top of this, which will be useful for dealing with those longbows, which have such... lovely range and nice kiting forward with them as well. I like that. Gonna get a few volleys in on top of these units. Lost like maybe 3 musks there to longbow fire. Can we see a 4th? When I say musk, I mean crossbow or longbow, but that's really nice from GUA. Oh god.
Yeah, these long bows are just really annoying to deal with. I like the stable here, but he's gonna need a lot of Hus. Although if he can just get 5 Hus out now and a good Minuteman pop, maybe a crossbow shipment, if GiveUAnxiety starts pushing a bit, then he could totally get it. But honestly, there's just no reason for GiveUAnxiety to be pushing here. He can just right click if Kaister is aged up, and if he's not aging, he can just contain. And I think he's just gonna be containing now, just poking a bit, killing a couple units, sieging down a house, killing a CDB, maybe denying that hunt would be nice, and just playing the slow poking game like that.
Yeah, I really like that assessment. The slow poking game seems very strong, given, this is Fertile Crescent, right? And the hunts are not exactly, well, he's got none in base. He's now moving on to berries. There's so many vills trying to gather from this one animal that they've gone idle. So, as you say, it's just, if you can just keep them in their base, you're just going to get ahead, especially as British. Don't let them age. 700 coin coming out. This is a very flexible shipment for Kaister. He could either age, he could either train Hussars. Losing some vills, not ideal. He has got about 5 cav about to pop, though, and Musketeers in queue. Here comes the Minutemen.
That's the nice thing about this 700 gold is that it maybe made GiveUAnxiety think that Kaister was aging, but in fact he's massing. So maybe we get a good trap here. He needs to start snaring. I don't know. I think GiveUAnxiety is totally okay here.
Yeah, I think
he's gonna just hit and run his way out of there.
Yeah, I just feel like these cav are just gonna sort of, the longbows and the musks had quite a head start getting out of there, and too many hussars died. The snare just wasn't ideal, and by the time they'd actually get up in range, yeah, he's gonna resign. There'd be no cav left, and there's just way more infantry for blue than there is for green. But that's going to be game number 1.
Very interesting.
Quite a nice game from GiveUAnxiety there. I always like seeing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I always like seeing British being played, up in your face. I always like the forward barracks and stuff.
It's not the standard way, and it's probably not that hard for friends to counter. Usually, you can just musketeer semi-FF and upgrade your mus to veteran and ship falconets and just break the front base. But well, it just turned out pretty good for GiveUAnxiety this game. And yeah, I wanted to say also the fact that he shipped 700 gold during the fight means that he's basically behind by 700 resources. So that's also unfortunate here. If he just had 8 crossbows popping there, it could have been much more scary.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because 700 coin takes a while to become military. That makes a lot of sense. That's game number 1, though.
Yeah, indeed.
Take a look at all resources gathered here. GUA pulling ahead in the end. It's this extra coin shipment that Kaiser's mentioning, and was ahead all game as well, just being British with that strong sort of economy. Let's take a look at military unit count. GUA always 5 units ahead, and then in that final fight, even more so.
Yeah.
And that just means game number 1 heading to GiveUAnxiety, but the next map will be Pampas Sierras. Oh, baby.
Oh, that's interesting, because Pampas Sierras being an OTP map with quite decent hunts, you could see GiveUAnxiety going for Brits there, but now he can't use Brits anymore. So I'm curious to see which sieve GiveUAnxiety is going to choose on that map. I think he can play India, though, and India would be really good on that map, so maybe that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, I'm not certain what GiveUAnxiety's civ pool is outside of British, what he likes or doesn't like playing. Kaister, I have absolutely no idea, to be honest. GiveUAnxiety, I see him stream a lot, so at least I know, can see there. But Pampas Sierras coming up. I really like this map as well. And India will be a really nice map given the 2 scouts. Yeah, there it comes down right away.
Yeah, oh, okay, yeah, well, he's locking India indeed. Yeah, GiveUAnxiety mostly plays Brits, India, and Otto, I would say. Maybe France as well. And Kaister is going for Dutch, which is probably his main sieve, along with France. And definitely a very reasonable pick against India. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I'm not really sure how this matchup plays out.
Well, traditionally you would see India just going for some kind of early aggression, usually Sepoy rush or some stuff like that, but it's not it's kind of like old-fashioned. We don't really see that anymore. Nowadays, we mostly see some timing. Usually, when Dutch is up and India just brings a ton of like Musk and Husk, kind of like Sepoy and Sowa and Gardeners. Or you can see India playing a bit more greedy and going H3, which is also possible.
All right, things to look out for. We'll see how it pans out. But spawning in the north of the map in the color blue, we do have GiveUAnxiety playing as India. Looks like it will be a 200 wood start plus the additional crates that India gets. Elephants heading on out to the left. Looks like they're going to rush forward for the llamas. However, Kaister, he doesn't want to contest the llamas. He's going to do that with the envoy, but perhaps prefers the first few picks in the lowlands. Perhaps he can find a treasure that's worth taking and can get that, completely uncontested. We'll see what he comes across. Doesn't look like it's going to work out for him, though. 80 coin. I guess that's quite good for Dutch, actually. But certainly something I'm not necessarily sure giving up on the llama. I suppose I shouldn't be so critical, right? He has found some llama. He's got his envoy here as well. But certainly GiveUAnxiety will be ahead in terms of llamas, simply because he's got, 2 scouts on this area. Oh, nice steal from Kaister there.
Good.
And just going to delete it there.
I would have just tried to bring it back. It's quite easy because the envoy and the llama got the same speed, so you don't even have to really babysit the llama. You can just like group it with the envoy together.
Oh, and just tell it to go home, yeah.
Nice treasure here for Dutch. So it's gonna kind of pay off, although he is gonna be a bit behind in the llama count, but not by much. 4-3, since one llama is dead. It would have been 5-3, but it's only 4-3. And an 80 wood is definitely going to be nice for his first bank.
Yeah, and is able to get that without his opponent, coming anywhere near him, I suppose. He can just go for it and be very confident that he will get it. But now the llama search is out of the way. GiveUAnxiety coming onto the map as well. Finds 90 coin. I'm going to pick that up with 1 elephant. That's a really nice treasure in the bottom here.
Just finding 2 pretty nice treasures, especially the 90 food one is very good.
Especially for elephants, right? These wolf treasures are just ideal for killing with area damage, etc.
Yep. And there is only the 80 coin left, I guess, on the right side of the map. Oh, and that one as well is pretty good, in fact. Especially on the no TP map. 120 XP is a big treasure.
Shenla's saying, just in time. There's a 2-minute delay. And I read your message and thought, just in time? You're not just in time. You missed the first game. And then I realized you must have looked at the scoreboard and seen it was 0-0. And that we're only 2 minutes into the first game. I'm afraid this is actually the second game. But
oh, yeah.
That is the case. Settlers now coming out. And distributivism for the India player. Looks like there is a contention. 80 coin here.
Yep.
This could be a little bit awkward. Green taking the damage for it. Does get in there first.
No, okay. Snare. Now he can just snare.
What? No.
Guy's still being a little bit shy with his Explorer as well in the first game. Like, he could just try to snare the elephants. Like, there's no reason to not do it.
Yeah, they're so rubbish against Explorers, right? They've like no damage at all, and they've actually got quite few hit points because divided over 2 units. So yeah, but it doesn't want to go for the snare there. Is there any treasures in his base? It looks like there's 120 XP in the back there. Perhaps he wants to go for that. No, he's still continuing out on the map. Finds the Agrifort though with the envoy. This is fairly central for GUA.
He was blocking it actually a bit, and he was able to drop his Agrifort with like more than 900 food. So it's delaying a little bit his age up, and he also pulled 2 extra villages, so that's a lot of walking time. So we probably expect something quite aggressive. I wouldn't be surprised to see GiveUAnxiety going for the old school Sepoy aggression, because I think it's what he likes to do as India. He's a rather aggressive player, actually. Even as Brits, you could see he was quite low eco aggressive.
The GUA style, perhaps. Maybe he wants to give his opponents anxiety.
Maybe.
Boom. I think that was much funnier than your laugh made it out to be. Never mind. Kaister now up. And we'll see what his first shipment is. I believe Bankwagon is the standard, but Kaister's done a really nice job of herding here. He's got a lot of animals under his base, and we saw in that early game he came out, quite well in terms of llama counts, and he got that really nice treasure as well. So good hunts, good treasures, good llamas. A reasonable age one from Kaister. I think he should be pleased with that, and did delay the forward aggro fort a little bit as well. But first bank now coming up is complete, and looks like we're starting with a barracks in the back there. Let's switch over to units in queue.
So that's probably a bank wagon start, since he's directly dropping a military building. So he expects to be rushed by sepoys, just like, well, forward aggro fort with 3 vills. And so he's just directly dropping a racks, playing it safe, and shipping Bankwagon and queuing skirmishes.
The aggro fort is a forward spawn point, right, for home city shipments?
Yeah.
It is, but the sepoy always spawn in base.
Oh, the 2 sepoys from the age up, yeah, because you can't set the aggro fort to be the shipment point, since it goes up at the same time as you get your 2 sepoys.
That makes sense. And even if you could, I expect them to arrive as the building is finished, and...
if you would build a castle forward and set the shipment point there, you could probably ship your 2 sepoys forward.
Yeah, but that seems quite expensive just to get 2 sepoy a bit further forward.
If you want to go for Flay Elephants Rush, maybe it works.
Okay. It doesn't make too much difference, right? Because by the time the 5 sepoy and your first batch arrive, the 2 sepoy have time to get across the map anyway. And that's what we're going to see here. Looks like 3 Gurkha, 5 sepoy shipment are going to meet up with those 2 sepoy as well. And then looks like they're going to push forwards, coming in with the elephants as well. There's a few forward villages on this hunt, but it does finish, and they are going to get back. There is another rear on the front there, but you've seen these units here. Looks like they are coming back. Sepoy coming around the side, see if they can get a villager kill on the mine there. He's got skirmishers of his own out, though. Attack moving onto the elephants. This is not ideal. Can he get that villager in? Yes, he does. He protects the villager there. And skirmishers on these sepoy are actually going to be fine, providing it doesn't lose any villagers. I think Kaister in a fine spot. GiveUAnxiety just walking all of the stuff in. How do you feel about this?
Really aggressive there. I'm not sure that's... well, it could work if Kaister doesn't really micro, but he's doing a decent job at just at shooting. The only way this would work is if Kaister keeps focusing the elephants, basically, and he did not focus them too much, so he ends up cleaning up 7 sepoy, right? And 3 Gorkhas, and he lost only 5 skirms, something, and he even killed the 2 elephants. So that was really not good for GiveUAnxiety. Plus, GiveUAnxiety committed to that pressure by shipping 5 sepoys first, and they just did nothing. Yeah, so that's a very good start for Kaister here.
We can look on the units lost here that quite a lot more for GUA. It wasn't for nothing. GiveUAnxiety did kill a few skirmishes, but in terms of economic damage, he's not really done anything. As you were saying, Kaister, he's gotten his banks up still. He's not really lost any. He's not lost any villages. So given that he's fine.
Yeah, and even in terms of military, he's just taken quite a poor trade. Of course, there was some TC fire in the mix, which means some resources lost for Dutch, but still, he's lost just more units than Kaister did. And yeah, shipping 5 sepoys is just delaying your whole build order. It's delaying your 600 wood, delaying your consulate, your stable, your market upgrades, your whatever. So yeah, that's just really good for Kaister here. But it's not the end of the game or something. There's still probably a second timing coming in. I would expect to see 300 export next from GiveUAnxiety, since he's got a consulate. Just getting the gardeners, maybe, from the Ottoman consulate. And here comes the 300 export. And probably a batch of Sowa and a 4 Sowa shipment. And he could have a scary timing.
Yeah, Ottoman consulate coming in now. Gonna have incredible line of sight on those units. I love that ability from... but also, more importantly, the gardeners, as you're mentioning, is going to start with the villagers. Makes sense. Going to get them from the Ottoman consulate. Kaister now getting steel traps in. Let's take a look at economic unit population here. Oh, were you expecting...
Villages, yeah, I guess. He's just being a little bit more greedy than I expected. But
what were you thinking? Do you think he was going to just ship the gardeners right away and just go waltzing in there?
I guess it's fine. If he pushes with his next shipment, he's going to have the gardeners roughly at the same time. He will have 400 export in time, I guess, so it's okay. He's actually cancelling the alliance already. So he's going to go to British consulate, probably. I would have like better a big mass of cav to just hit the timing. Anyway, 700 gold for Kaister, looking for an age up there for sure.
Yeah, and you can tell from his macro, right? He's got like every villager on food there, and with the coin, that's going to be enough to get up to the next stage. He's going to add in the stable in the back. Let's see what he allies with. Let's go over to text being researched. Wow, that takes a long time, that end relations. But GiveUAnxiety, massing up. Let's take a look at units in queue. Sawa, okay, so is switching unit to deal with the skirmishes. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, Gorka Sawa is a pretty good composition against skirmisher pikemen, obviously, because Gorkas will snipe the pikemen and the Sawas will kill the skirmishers. And Kaister played kind of greedy. I mean, he didn't ship 8 pikes, he didn't add any hussars and colonial, he's just directly going to be aging. So he might get cleaned up when he's in Fortress. He might lose his units, although he still has Minutemen available, so maybe not. And in fact, GiveUAnxiety is playing really greedy now. Also going for the wood trickle. I feel like going a bit more aggressive just now would have been perfect, just because it's when Kaister is aging, and you can expect it to be around that time. So
yeah,
I was really expecting for Sowars and the Gardeners and just like go in and kill everything here, but in fact he's just gonna go now anyway. And I don't think this is quite enough units for GiveUAnxiety. Honestly, I think 9 Ritters will pop and Kaister will be okay. Or is he even not gonna push at all?
Maybe he just felt so, dejected after that first push. He waltzed his sepoy in there. They all got mown down. Didn't really do any damage, and then didn't really feel like following it up. Just sort of wanted to switch into economy. He got his 4 villagers. He got his wood trickle in. Just trying to set up for that long game, and he is slightly in the lead, right? He's got 46 to 43. But
what is going on? He's pushing with just skirmishers. That's very risky. Look at these Sowas now. That's very risky.
How do you feel about it? Like the Sours have found themselves near the skirms, but there's dragoons and a few pikemans there. He's gonna take some shots as he leaves.
He retreated just in time, but that was looking very scary.
Ooh, 1,000 wood coming from Kaister.
Yeah, and he's gonna get away with it because India is just like not really pushing. Probably gonna look for an age up himself. He's starting to stack quite a lot of resources. So I think if India goes H3 now, Dutch has time to like ship one more shipment, like 9 Ritters or whatever, and just nuke the Agra fort. To be honest. But we'll see if GiveUAnxiety wants to go H3 or not.
I mean, it feels like he sort of has to now, right? Earlier on, he was, was aggressive very early on, but didn't really follow it up, and sort of missed that window to do damage whilst Dutch are aging.
Well, he could still try to just mass a ton of units and just get a good catch, And it's what he's doing. In fact, he shipped the melee upgrade. I don't know why he didn't ship the camel attack instead, because it's like 30% instead of the 15 of that card, Dravidian martial arts. But yeah, anyway, he's gonna mass in Colonia. In fact, he's not gonna age.
Oh, all unit changes 15%. Okay.
Yeah, all but Gorkas having better melee damage doesn't really matter, or even musketeers or sepoys getting better melee is nice. But
it does, however, affect the villages.
Benefiting from that is the Sowa here, so
yeah, makes sense. Kaister now looking to push out.
Yeah, and he's got a solid mass.
What did he do with the wood? He added in 5th bank, second barracks, that is a second barracks here, and housing by the looks of it.
Yeah, and he's got steel traps and placer mines, which are just really nice upgrades for Dutch. GiveUAnxiety doesn't have all of his market upgrades, by the way, so he doesn't have the greatest ego. And I don't know if GiveUAnxiety can hold that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. Looks like those camels coming around on the back there. try and cut off any reinforcements and trying to get in position perhaps to surprise Kaister. But the Reuter's really nearby. This is nice though. He can find the skirms and he's not in the way of the buildings and stuff. But there are still trees and those hunts as well are a real big issue for him.
This is a great positioning for Kaister. The Agra Fort and the natural resources are blocking the Sowars. And he forgot about 4 pikes, but he's bringing them in now. And they're actually going to add some DPS, like just some damage to the Sowars. So, not the worst trade for GiveUAnxiety, but I think he needs a bit more than that to compete with Fortress units.
Oh, Sowars are just... I feel like they always just sort of die. They're not strong units, right? Like...
Well, now they're pretty strong because they got 2 cards on them, but they still have like no HP. Like they just melt.
They're like Ulans.
Yeah. Skirmisher combat though coming in a little bit late for Kaister. In fact, just not the greatest timing. Already lost most of his skirmishers, but he can probably remass a lot of skirms now. The thing is that now that all the Sowars are dead, Kaister doesn't really need to make more Ritters. He's already got like 30 Ritters, so he can just spam out of his double axes, and he's got the Skirmisher combat card, so
yeah,
he's gonna be in a good spot, I think.
That card also affects pikes and halbs. Not that that's super relevant, but it's quite a good upgrade actually.
Yeah, it's good upgrades.
Desert Terror.
The team HP card of Dutch in H2 affects every single infantry unit. It's very good, like musketeers, skirmishers, crossbows, whatever. So, yeah, good upgrades for Dutch.
I need to play India more. India's like a civ that I was playing a while back, and I sort of was okay with it. I want to play India again.
Yeah, it's quite a... I don't know how to say it in English.
It's flexible and diverse, and, you know, it's very fun. I think it's a good civ to learn the game with.
I just meant, like, it's very popular at the moment as well. Like, everyone's playing India. But... yeah, anyway, back to the game. Like, these Gorkhas are just so inferior to these green skirmishers. They have less range, less attack, less HP. So there's more Gorkhas, but I don't know. GiveUAnxiety has 60 Gorkhas, though. That's just so many. But there's some Hus now, and 5 Hus might be enough. Although there's some Zams. Triple carded Zams. Pretty scary. Green Skirmisher is a bit out of position there. Not really using them to their max potential. More Hussars coming in. Cav combat as well for Dutch. So he's got very strong units now.
Hot damn. Going into this late portion, he's going to be absolutely fine. And even right now, it's upgrading those units an incredible amount, but not enough to take a fight. He doesn't feel confident to go in there just yet. Perhaps mass a few more units. Maybe that he doesn't fighting on his own terms, right? Not next to that Agra fort is probably ideal. Stay at home, defend the villages, just get stronger and stronger, knowing that you sort of scale better being in the Fortress Age with these stronger upgrades.
Yeah, definitely.
And just protect your villages. And meanwhile, he's going to come out with the Hussars. He finds villages on gold, and that is going to be really strong.
Yeah. And also one thing to mention is that he used only 1 military shipment, only 9 Reuters, and he still got like 8 skirms and a bunch of military shipments available. So he has a remassing potential that India doesn't quite have. And yeah, he's still like 5 bills now, which is rather big. 600 coin coming in for India, maybe. No, he's gonna keep massing. He could maybe try to age, but he's currently gonna stay colonial.
Let's take a look at GiveUAnxiety's deck. In terms of upgrades, just British East India Company. I suppose he can get how's you call it? The veteran upgrades for India. Disciplined.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, just upgrading all these Gorkhas would be a good reason to age. He's got 64 of them.
That's fair enough, actually. Yeah, can't argue with that logic. Don't they also get more range as you age as well? Like some +1 range every age. Or I don't know why I think that.
Yeah, they do get 1 extra range with veterancy and
oh right
as well.
Huh, I am right. Nice. I just thought that was like a mysterious knowledge bite in my mind that for some reason I didn't think was true, but it is actually true.
Yeah, it is true. Um, but no, he's not looking for an age up apparently, and that's maybe unfortunate for GiveUAnxiety because at some point, like you said, Dutch is just gonna keep outscaling. He's got anyway a better eco. He's got more stuff. He's got better upgrades. I mean, veterancy and then cav combat, infantry combat. I mean, I don't know what Dutch is gonna do at some point. How is he gonna compete with his Dutch army? How India is gonna do? I mean, look also at this military pop from Dutch. I mean, he's almost at 200 pop, and
You
he's
are,
got
you're
like
right, yeah.
200 pop is a lot for Dutch because they have less villagers. They have like banks and just 45 bills now, and then still almost max pop. So
So a lot of stuff.
yeah, he could even make falconets. To be honest, might be the easiest way to win. Actually, just adding falconets.
Build a foundry and just go for it. But this is the time to push, right? He's nearly at 200 pop, so he's going to have to do something now, and that's sort of the safest time to go out. As you said, it's Dutch, so 50 vils is the max. He's going to have considerably more military units here, and is just going to use them to overwhelm, GiveUAnxiety. Hussars now coming forward, trying to find... there's just so many units there. They're just standing around. Come on, go. I don't think it matters, though. He's got so much stuff here.
I think Dutch is anyway gonna crush this fight.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit laggy. Maybe why the Hussar just standing there like that. Also, Dutch could have maybe got an arsenal. When you have so many units, it's probably worth upgrading your Reuters and Hussars in the arsenal.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's gonna just win this fight.
What is the Hussar HP upgrade in there called? Something breastplate. And then there's range.
That's infantry breastplate. That's
that-
really infantry stuff.
There is a 10% HP upgrade and a ranged cavalry caracol as well.
And the cav one is called the cuirass. That is
Yeah, cavalry cuirass.
yeah,
that's right.
I think that's it.
Those Hussars really did die.
They did die, but there's just enough of them left to actually snare and kill some Gorkhas there. Like just the 3 Huss remaining here did so much work. And now, in fact, when we look at the military population, it's very one-sided, and it's GG.
And that's gonna make it the score 1-1.
Yeah, indeed. So to sum up this game, I feel like, after the first push of GiveUAnxiety, which just totally failed, honestly, he didn't really do any damage, and he just tried to play the very slow colonial kind of style, which can work against some civ that would not have such a good eco as Dutch. Like, I don't know, let's say you're up against Germany. If you can hold and play late colonial, you probably win. But against Dutch, they just anyway have more eco than you, and they get better units and stuff. So I don't know. Was a bit too greedy maybe from GiveUAnxiety in this game.
Yeah. I'm quite impressed with that skirmisher card.
Yeah, it's just so good. Like it's one of the big advantages of being
That's
Dutch.
nuts. That is crazy. Attack and hit points. What the fuck? And it affects pikes and halbs. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, it's like
That card
Cav Combat is also an insane card, to be honest. But the thing is that every European civ has Cav Combat, so we kind of get used to it. But the Skirmisher Combat one is not something that lots of
I'm
have.
used to the shitty French one. Like,
Yeah,
because I play France so much. Fuck, that card's nuts. All right.
yeah, and the thing is that Dutch even got infantry attack in H2. So if it keeps going like that, at some point Dutch is gonna achieve infantry attack as well, which is the equivalent of the French card you mentioned, basically. So they have their infantry combat, but they can also ship 2 more cards in Fortress if they want to keep upgrading the skirmishers.
God, this is making me want to play Dutch.
And honestly, he should have probably gone for it instead of 8 skirms, because he had already 50 skirms. Now he's got 58, but he could have 50 skirms with the attack boost as well. But anyway, yeah, pretty well played by Kaister. I didn't see any big mistakes from him. He played it quite well, I think. And yeah, that's 1-1.
It is 1-1. GiveUA bringing out the big guns in game number 1 and not so successful in his second game here.
Yeah.
I'm going to quickly go get a drink. I'll be right back.
All right. So yeah, that makes it 1-1 in this best of 5. Pretty nice because I think people would agree that GiveUAnxiety is the favorite of this series. But I've played Kaister quite a few times myself, and I know that he can be a very decent player. Sometimes he's not very consistent. Kaister doesn't play always his best, but in this game he played pretty well, and so we have 1-1, and it could be a close series now. Next game is gonna be Florida, and it's gonna be Kaister picking first. Not able to select Dutch anymore, but he could go for France again like he did in game 1, just because he didn't win with France. And in this tournament, as long as you didn't win with a Civ, you can keep playing it. So I would expect him to go France and Florida, or maybe Sioux, because he also plays some Sioux, and Sioux is just pretty good in Florida.
All right, I'm back.
All right, I'm gonna go myself get a drink then.
Okay. Sioux. The Sioux on Florida.
All right. Yeah, Sioux. Yeah, I expected either French again or Sioux, and it looks like he's going for Sioux. The thing about Florida is that there's so much food in your base, and while on the official patch on RE, Sioux kind of needs to have like no food on the map to just keep raiding all the time. On this patch, Sioux is very happy to just drop some TPs in base and just sit forever. So that's quite a nice pick. And France for GiveUAnxiety, actually.
I was half expecting the French pick. That's what I'd pick into the Sioux, but that's partly because France is my sort of best Civ. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 2. No, game number 3.
Number 3, yeah.
On Florida. It will be GiveUAnxiety playing as the French versus Kaister as the Sioux. On the top of the map.
That's
in the color blue.
That's a pretty close matchup, I think.
I'm looking forward to it. Let's see how they go. See what their age ones look like. Oh, I don't know. I'm been playing a lot recently. I'm really looking forward to seeing some French gameplay, which is not something you'll hear from everyone since they are sort of quite a vanilla, boring Civ in a way. But
yeah, it's just as standard as you get. But I've actually seen GiveUAnxiety play this same matchup on the same map earlier today on his stream.
Practicing. I like it. Yeah, he was playing against Samusket earlier.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Looks like, though, he's going to start with a 40 coin treasure, and with the market in base, that's going to make hunting dogs pretty free, actually. He just needs 10 coin and to gather 50 wood for the house. Comes across 75 wood in the top there. I wouldn't even have villagers on wood at that point with that treasure in the back of my base.
Yeah, that's true. Although, I guess there's two ways to see it. You can either just go for that treasure and not chop wood, or you can consider that it's kind of a safe treasure that you keep for later.
That's
and
true.
You start treasuring somewhere else. But then again, you're up against Sioux, and you shouldn't, probably not go on the map against Sioux, try to pick some big treasures in the middle or something. So I guess going for this is reasonable. But again, yeah, I don't know why he chopped 50 wood then, but anyway.
So there's two ways of looking at it. Go for it right away and get your house, or come back for it later because it's a safe treasure and get out on the map for the llamas and, the sheep and the other treasures.
Right.
Okay.
But if you do go for it, then don't chop 50 wood for your house.
Yeah, but sometimes before you've noticed that the treasure's there, you'll task a couple of villagers to wood because you know you need it for your house, and then you'll check out what treasures have been found afterwards and later on, and then at that point you've already gathered most of the wood for your house, and it just seems a bit like, oh, I might as well finish gathering it.
Yeah, in this case, he gathered only like 15 wood when he noticed the treasure. But I see what you mean, yeah. Anyway,
I see.
it's not a huge deal. He will be able to age up in time regardless. The thing is that if you don't chop your wood, you might be able to age up 13 CDBs, which is just very nice. Like you could eat maybe one sheep and just age 13, which is just good if you can do it.
Yeah, up always a bit being up faster, definitely. But GUA, God, low HP on that Explorer, but alligators are kind of tough to deal with. Bit of lag by the looks of it. That alligator wasn't able to get the next shot on it, escaped all the way back and reset fully, but 100 XP on that. Oh, deliberately done it because of his low HP and waiting for the crack shot or something.
Exactly, yeah. He's going to wait for the crack shot and just take it. It's also a bit safer because his opponent is Sioux. And you know how it feels when suddenly the Sioux Explorer shows up with like 2 pets and starts like raping your Explorer. So he just went for the safe option and just do that. So 2 pretty nice treasures for France here. And that's already more than what you get sometimes against Sioux. Like, he can be happy to get these kind of treasures against Sioux.
Yeah, I think that's an exceptional age one from France there. 100 XP, 75 woods. And I guess hunting dogs isn't such a big deal on Florida, but really, really early hunting dogs as well. Let's switch over to shipment sent. 3 villagers from both players. Let's take a look at what the Sioux has done. Kaister, he's found 80 wood, pretty good treasure, but aside from that, nothing too big. 60 food's respectable, and 20 wood there as well. He's got his marking.
It's a rather even age one, like 100 wood for Kaister and 60 food, 75 wood and 100 XP for GiveUAnxiety. But the thing is that you would usually expect Sioux to get even more than that, just because it's Sioux.
Yeah, like partly their Civ bonus in a way is, good early treasures because of being able to convert stuff. God, pirates are so disgusting. 360 HP unit in age 1 with 12 attack. But it's interesting. It looks like Kaister didn't get his hunting dogs upgrade. He chose not to do that despite starting with a market there. So an interesting choice from Kaister, but that's what he has elected to do. He's now getting it in now, but it hasn't really netted him an age-up advantage. He's going up at the same speed with the Chief, which will grant him...
Yeah, it's
what is it? 400 wood?
400 wood.
Yeah.
But it's a bit harder as Sioux to get hunt dogs and as France, especially because he didn't have a coin treasure in base. And you don't have the same eco, like you just... you start with 5 bills, I think, when you're Sioux.
Yeah, you do.
Which is just not very good.
Oh, so
maybe that's why he didn't go for hunt dogs, but arguably, yeah, he could have gone hunt dogs.
I would have. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, coming out of your mouth, I'll accept that. That's absolutely fine. But I would have thought whenever you start with a market for free, there's no excuse. But
honestly, I don't know. I can't tell you if he was right to do it or not. I don't know. We need to make the math for it.
Okay. Well, it seems closer than it seems closer in your mind than I thought it would be. So probably fine either way. It doesn't seem to be a super big deal to Kaiser, so we shouldn't worry about it.
It's not as automatic as for France, just because it's Sioux.
Yeah, he's going to take out this scout here with the Explorer, and Kaister he's massed up a nice Age 1 army. He's gotten 2 war dogs. He's got his pirate there as well. France, he's still got his native scout. He's got a second one, so the first one dying, not a super big deal. He can still use that one. Does want to keep it away from that Sioux Explorer, though, since there's no escape. That thing's very, very fast. He's going to elect to start with 4 villagers, as is Kaister, going to go with 5. Dropping a couple of TPs in base, now has 4 for that passive resource generation. And it's going to start with a corral in the back here. I'll switch over to units in queue. Axe Riders, no doubt, will be trained at that for the raiding potential. At home, France...
Usually you would see probably bow riders, just because bow riders can fight musketeers better than axe riders can.
That's fair.
France is going musketeers, which is very standard. But in fact, I think he's going for a naked FF. He's not making units, and he's starting to stack a lot of resources.
So he's going to skip the 700 coin, just going to go straight for the age up without? Or do you think he will?
I think he's got 700 coin on the way. And he's just like dropping a stable because he knows France is probably gonna scout it, and France is gonna make more musketeers to defend the raids.
Than
And
he
so that's
otherwise
kind
would.
of a mind game to just drop your stable. Like, why not? You know, you got the wood from the 400 wood, so you just drop your stable. Then
Yeah.
it gets scouted. You mind game your opponent, and you age. So it's pretty smart.
No reason not to make it then. Plus you
Yeah,
get the XP, right, which gets that 700
exactly.
coin a bit sooner, which has now arrived, and is going to age up with that. The trouble, I feel like the 700 coin is only helped his age up a little bit because he's got quite a lot of coin left over from those crates whilst the age is, sending the 5 vils, that's always the trouble. 700 coin arrays a bit later, but it is what it is. He is now up to the next age and does queue a bow rider, so he's going to start using this. France, he's got musks at home. They're just sort of standing out on this hunt. He's got these other hunts at home safely behind his town centre, doesn't need to worry about raids, but from GiveUAnxiety's point of view, he could be expecting bow riders. The fact that he hasn't seen any, he's now getting a bit more confident and is choosing to walk out on the map, so probably expects that bow riders or units haven't really been trained, there's no raids been showing up, and is therefore going to move forwards with these musketeers and do some damage. And he's going to be quite lucky, he's going to come across the miniature army of Kaister and be able to kill that.
Kaiser should keep this in his base because these guys in TPs are actually pretty strong, especially the pirates get so much HP between the TPs. And he could actually defend just with his little pet army and his 5 riders and his explorer. He could defend the push, but anyway, GiveUAnxiety is going to go back, so it's not a big deal. Kaiser is actually aging up slowly. And he's shipping something else.
Let's take a look.
Transition.
He's going up with the wise woman. Oh, and he's not saved his shipment. We don't know what it is yet. It's on the way, but you'd expect the messenger. Okay, well, that's fair enough, right? If you're going up slowly, you should get the XP ready for the shipment after that. He's going to ship 700 wood.
I'm not a fan of that. It's just kind of slow, and if you go 700 wood second card and 700 coin third card, you just age at the same time or earlier because you go fast age, and you can build a war hut in the middle of the map. But now he can't really build a war hut because the wood comes in so late and there could be too many musketeers. So he's going to drop a war hut in base, and it's just less map control.
Yeah. But okay, you're saying you're not a huge fan, but I mean, essentially what he's done is shipped 5 vils and they're at the start, and then went with the fast fortress cards afterwards, and it's just slowing it all down, which is fine because he can age up slower as well with the for the extra bonus, the wise woman, which gives the I believe bisons, and now in his base he's got all these deer, the bisons, and another deer next to that trading post. So a slower FF, but he's got a lot of resources, and those TPs are going to continue to keep on giving back. Does pick up a vil as well with these fast raids, the war chief mixed in there, and I think actually I quite like Kaister's position. It is slow. It's not as aggressive as perhaps you were hoping for, but he's got a solid economy here with these 4 trading posts and lots of hunt to boot.
Right. What I dislike is mostly the fact that you already rush the H3, shipping 700 coin second card, not making any units, and in fact you just age super late because you go for a slow age. So it's kind of weird, but it's definitely okay. Now he's got all these bisons.
Yeah, and look at what GiveUAnxiety. He's noticed that the age up was very late and has elected to go with 1,000 wood as his first shipment here, and is putting up a sneaky town centre on the top of the map here. That's not going to be scouted for a while, and it's going to give, there's quite a couple of hunt nearby. There's a coin mine that he can gather from if he wants to keep stealthed up there and not give away that there's a TC. But Kaister, he's got bow riders. It looks like they might head up to the top. They might actually find it up. Oh, wow, it looks like they are going to find it.
I don't think they are.
Pure chance. Look, that was very close. The war chief's got a lot of line of sight. Doesn't look like he did see it, though.
It's actually a surprisingly good spot for a TC. Usually you wouldn't drop it next to the border of the map, but he's got like 3 hunts next, and 1 gold mine plus 1 other gold mine not too far here. So it's actually a very nice TC.
But what? He's going to find it!
He's going to find it, but too late. It's going to go up.
Yeah. This is bullshit, though.
Although... What? Okay, well, he didn't see it. Probably was barely just not in line of sight. Now he's gonna go back, and the TC is up.
This is... Okay, so Looks like GiveUAnxiety starting very slow, but can do that. His opponent started very slow as well. So 1,000, looks like there's a fight in the middle of the map here. Bow Riders, there's a lot of skirms nearby though. Kaister has skirms of his own. Looks like, I think the Kaister army trumps this one. These Musketeers, they can't really get stuck in. There's just too many skirmishers there. And now on the back foot, looks like these Axe Riders pursuing down the skirms, going to retreat towards this town center. Musketeers now coming forward. They want to try and protect their skirmisher buddies, but Kaister up in his face here. I expect Minutemen from this town center as well. Cavalry combat coming in. This is a really solid fight for the Sioux player.
Yeah, Cav combat kind of like a bit too greedy, but it's still gonna help a lot in this fight, and there's no way GiveUAnxiety can win it. And that's what you pay when you go for 1k wood first card and drop a TC. That's just very greedy. Usually when you 1k wood, you just sit in base because you can't afford to move out on the map. But because he dropped the TC, he had to kind of defend it, I guess, and it results in just losing all his stuff.
Wow.
And that TC is probably toast, so that's just looking very bad for GiveUAnxiety. And yeah, Kaister getting away with just shipping Cav Combat second card. So now all his Cav is going to be stronger, and it's just...
yeah.
I don't want to call GG, you know, but what do you do here as friend? How do you kill that Sioux army?
Yeah, it's like that wood shipment's not done anything, and he lost his army trying to save it, right? Like, yeah. No, it's not really trained any villagers. Well, currently there are 3 villagers inside. I guess it's doing some damage, and he's now coming forward with goons. He's got a few skirmishers in the back there. Maybe if he can call Minutemen at the same time. Can he defend it? It just seems like, though, the Cav combat active on those units and so many extra green ones, it just seems like, again, he's trying to defend it, but maybe it's a lost cause, and all these units are now vulnerable out in the middle of the map. Okay, more goons and skirms coming forward to even that out. It's looking more even, but it did lose the town center, isn't saving anything now, and functionally, that 1,000 wood's not really achieved anything.
He lost some CDBs, he lost the TC, he lost his army. He's got no map now. He has no hunt, basically. I mean, he's got some food up here, for example, but you know, he doesn't really have a safe location to gather.
Yeah, I think what he was really hoping for, Kaiser, was that TC would get dropped up the top there, and that it's just so out of the way and so far up the top of the map that Kaister would have really no reason to go there. And I'm surprised he did go there, but he found it. And if it, you know, if Kaiser, if GiveUAnxiety had managed to build it there and it just got left alone, and you know, Kaister just had no idea it was there all game long, maybe it would have paid off and he'd have, you know, extra villagers and stuff like that. But Kaister on point finds it and takes it down.
Indeed, and also if it's gonna go down, then let it go down. It sucks, but it's just half of your 1k wood shipment. It's just half a shipment this town center, in fact. So better let it just go down and not lose all your units trying to defend it.
Yeah, that's true.
Or even better, just wait a bit, get one more unit shipment, call Minutemen, and then defend your TC. I don't know, something like that. But GiveUAnxiety just in a hurry to take a fight, was really aggressive with his units, despite shipping 1k wood, and that was a real problem. Like, the TC is a problem, but losing all your army is the biggest problem here.
That's fair. It's an even bigger problem. How do you feel about just calling Minutemen at the town center and doing nothing? Just let the Minutemen fight it out, because they're quite cost effective, right? And you don't give your opponent any XP, and it feels like if the town center's going to go down anyway, you might as well sort of use that opportunity up. Thank you very much. EagleMutt just subscribed to ESOC with 3 months in a row, currently on a streak as well. Thank you, EagleMutt. Anyway, my question about Minutemen.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't know. It depends on they are, because your Minutemen might just die instantly and do nothing. But if you can kill a couple units with them, then it's okay. Anyway, GiveUAnxiety again being really aggressive here. I don't know why, because he lost his army earlier, so he has less units, and he's got more eco because he's friends. So I'm not sure why he wants to be so aggressive here. It's gonna be punished. Like there's no way he can beat this army.
Yeah.
This is just too strong.
And here comes the Axe Riders. They're about to close in. The goons getting frantically trying to get into position to defend against this. But the Axe Riders, they've now found their way on top of... Oh no, only a few are coming around on the goons side.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good by Sioux here. Oh, now he's gonna Z move on top, and that's GG. Like, now I call it. There's no way. There's just no way you come back from that. Especially with the Cav combat. It's just... and he's not even dancing. Like he could be dancing on his fire pit. And after that, it's 16 minutes, so you can still call your. Look at his food count. He's got 2k food. So at 16 minutes, he can call the dogs and get 6 extra dogs with scav combat on them. It's like so GG.
Yeah, these units just gonna bleed out. GUA is trying to do what he can to get the most out of them, but there's so much green stuff here.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, dog soldiers, here they are popping, and that is gonna be GG.
Right.
So GiveUAnxiety starting on the front foot, but Kaister pulling it back. The score is now 2-1.
Indeed, yeah.
Oh god, I really like to. It's really good for Kaister that he found that TC up in the top there. I think GiveUAnxiety, he saw that Kaister aged slowly and really wanted to put down the TC. He did that, but it sort of got spotted out. And yes, he wanted to defend it, but as you mentioned, not really worth sacking your army for. But just let the TC go down, accept that you didn't get away with it. But in this case, loses his units over there, and then just has less now, and then comes out perhaps a little bit too soon for France, and Green catches him out in the open and takes these skirms down and picks himself up the win.
And then also a 2-unit composition against a 3-unit composition, because he lost his mass earlier, so he couldn't really mix queers. He was stuck going Skirm Goon, which is a very decent composition, but as you can see, without queers to block the cav, like you just get caught and Z moved and like... Especially because it's Sioux and their cav is so fast, so he can catch you in your goons. And you can see the 2 fights in the military unit population graphs just so good for Sioux. Like, just crushed both of these fights. Especially the first one was so efficient for Sioux. He's lost just a couple units and cleaned up everything. Yeah. In that first, 11-minute fight.
Brutal. And if GiveUAnxiety just let the TC go, perhaps would have hung on a bit longer. But that is the story of this game. It now comes down match point to Kaister in game number 4. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, indeed.
This is a best of 5.
It's kind of a small upset. I mean, it's just... GiveUAnxiety is a bit the favorite of this series, I would say. Although, Kaister is definitely a decent player.
It's not over yet, though.
No, it's not. But it's... starting to look like a small upset.
He's got a big hill to climb, right? He can't drop any more games, and he has to win 2 in a row to win this series. But next map will be Kamchatka, and this is a great map for France. So GiveUAnxiety could well play that again. Kaister will pick first, so GiveUAnxiety does have the civ advantage in theory. Let's see what Kaister picks. He cannot play as the Dutch, and he cannot play as the Sioux. He has won games with both of those civilizations.
Indeed.
So if it were me, I'd pick France, but that's not particularly insightful. Is there, in your opinion, Kaiser, any civ that is particularly strong on Kamchatka? I mean, I'm saying France, but really you could play anything, right?
There's a lot of civs that are good, but there isn't one civ. It's just such a standard map. A couple civs are bad in this. Otto, for example, is very bad here. But mostly, there's just a lot of decent and good civs, and France is just a typical civ you would pick here. And since Kaister didn't win with France here, he's gonna go France, right? There's no reason to not pick his main or second main civ again on this one map. So yeah, to answer your question, I don't know. Germany is good, France is good, the Sioux would be good, India would be good. There's just a lot of good civs on this map.
Anything goes, and that's the mark of a fine map, perhaps. Kamchatka is one of my favorite maps, and I really like the old Kamchatka before Gaia changed it. Where you had the 2 strong treasures in the middle of the map, and you had the 4 goats there as well. I really liked how the explorers and everything would just rush to the middle, and it just created quite an active and fast game because there was something to sort of do in the middle. Now there's only sort of 1 strong treasure in the middle of the map, but certainly still there's goats, so you still do see some of what I was saying. But Kaister going to lock in France. GiveUAnxiety, he can still play France again, but perhaps he would rather not mirror. since this is his civilization advantage, he can change if he wants to. Mind you, if it were me, I'd be fine with the French mirror, but again, that's because I play a lot of France. We'll see. We'll give you anxiety picks. I bet he's wishing he could go right back to British now, but has already won with British in that first game, so we'll not be seeing British from GiveUA.
You can't really counter France. I mean, there's some good matchups. Like, for example, I would rather be Sioux than France. In Sioux against France, like previous game, I think Sioux has the advantage, but it's just always close. Like, you don't really have a real counter pick to France. So I don't know what GiveUAnxiety does here. He can mirror. He could also just pick India again because it's an okay matchup. Like, it's a fine matchup. He could. I don't know exactly what he's gonna do. Like, he must himself be in a lot of trouble to find out what he's gonna do here. Germany is definitely an option.
I really like this. I always, at least for me, I always struggle versus Germany. I always think they're quite a powerful civ against France. But
yeah, it's a pretty close matchup, but it's definitely harder for France to play. It's not. France isn't worse, but it requires more skill to play it properly, I think. And the thing is that I don't remember seeing GiveUAnxiety actually play Germany.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I mean, that could be a real issue because he needs to play them competently here. But, you know, Germany, I always feel a slight advantage over France. Those Uhlans very, very strong. And France, you know, Germany, pretty much doing similar things in the Fortress Age, and Germany just seems to have that slightly sort of stronger eco early on with those settler wagon shipments, and also the Uhlans that you get for free in those big, powerful Fortress Age shipments. But as you're saying, by no means any way to counter France, really. Yeah. Solid civ all around, and if played well, can keep up with Germany just fine. And they do have the Falconets as well, worth bearing in mind. Germany doesn't have those. But spawning on the north of the map in the color green, we do indeed have a kaister. It's a 200 wood start, 200, and we'll probably see that explorer head on straight over to the trading post. Likewise, for GiveUAnxiety playing as Germany, it will be a 200 wood start for him as well, but actually electing to go to the middle, and I really like this from him. I was sort of expecting the side trading post, but here he's going to be able to pick up some goats. He's going to be able to contest them, and he sort of has to against France, because with that native scout, they're just going to get them for free, right, if you don't go there. So he's at least going to get 2 here. He's going to come across 85 wood. He's going to go for it immediately. Okay, so not going... I like this as well, right? Think about it, because now he needs to gather hardly any wood at all, because he can build his trading post after picking this up, and with that wood, make a house.
Okay, so a couple of things here to mention. First, usually you don't go for that TP just because you miss the XP. It's always painful. But then again, you get goats, which is nice. And that treasure is really cool for him. But why would you not just crackshot it and build your TP and then go back to crackshot again instead of losing HP and delaying your trading post?
Perhaps he's concerned that he knows his opponent will be...
He's gonna go back here. He's gonna miss the XP.
You wanting to build the middle one, but I see. But this one's more defendable, perhaps, against like sort of a musket semi or something. I mean, the XP definitely really valuable, but clearly GiveUAnxiety is preferring the safer TP here. That's on his mind at the moment. But you know, picking up to answer your question about the wood in the middle there, he knows his opponent was building a trading post, you know, back home. So that wood treasure, he just wanted to pick it up before the trading post was done and would be having it safely, and didn't really want the middle TP, right? If he was going for the middle TP, maybe he would have done what you were going to say, which was crack shot a tiger and then do the rest.
You wouldn't do what I said if you go for that TP in base, obviously. I just meant like to crack shot and build the TP right next and then go again, because you know France is building a TP himself, so he will not steal your wood treasure. But anyway, the thing is that 2 settler wagons is just such a big shipment. It's like 4 wheels, and usually you want to get the XP because it's just so much food you get out of these settler wagons coming in a bit earlier. So that's why I was like, oh no, don't build your TP there.
I see, okay.
He's just getting... You see, Kaister got his shipment in already, like the 3 CDBs, and the 2 settler wagons are just lagging behind.
Yeah.
So that's just a bit painful. But.
So I see. I mean, yes, 2 settler wagons is exceptional, but so how do you feel about just ignoring this TP completely in the start and going for the goats in the middle? I sort of really like that, because as Germany, there's no way to contest those goats. You don't have that extra scouting unit, right?
I think here it was good because there happened to be an 85 wood. But if you would go there in the middle, just get 2 goats, and then there's like no treasures or like just some stuff like that, uh, then it's not worth missing the XP. And just because you can't be sure you're gonna find a treasure, I wouldn't do it. But here in this special case, it was good just because you got 85 wood.
Yeah, and pays out.
Well,
And
and he did delay his 2 settler wagons, but he also didn't have to chop so much wood. Like he had to chop only 15 wood. So yeah, here it was good, but it's just not a move I would do in a tourney game where you might just get, pardon me, but you might just get fucked, go in the middle, find absolutely nothing, and be like, okay, I got my 2 goats. Now I go build my TP and I need.
Okay, I see what you're saying. But if we take a look at economic units, overall, I'd say GiveUAnxiety has had a really, really solid age 1. He's on 5 goats. His opponent, who starts with that native scout, on 5 goats as well. So versus France here, Germany has had an exceptional start, except perhaps for the really late trading post. But that was something he elected to do anyway. And as a result, he managed to pick himself up the wood treasure. But now, players both in transition here. France is up slightly sooner than his opponent, but both have added in the market, and it looks like the French now getting placer mines in, and Germany also has placer mines now saving for that hunting dog, so I'm sure going to get that very, very soon as well. Out in the middle of the map here, both players being active with their explorer. I'd like to see perhaps GiveUAnxiety turn around and go into combat with that explorer. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's on lower health, doesn't get the melee in, but is able to do that because he knows his opponent's scout was quite low HP, was fighting it sort of earlier in the game, so shouldn't be afraid of taking a fight there. And if he can sort of snare the explorer long enough, the explorers, the cavalry from the first shipment could come and help him finish it off or something like that. But
that's true. But it's also the time in the game where you want to be scouting, and Kaister is doing a good job at scouting and making sure there's a stable. And I kind of want to say, for France, scouting is not a huge deal because you kind of know Germany is going to go for a stable. But for GiveUAnxiety, he really wants to know if France is starting musketeers or hussars, and he doesn't have that information.
No, he's in. Okay, so hasn't. That's one thing. Attacking the explorer does mean you forgo scouting, and as Germany, I think it's because I play France so much that I'm just used to being able to scout no matter what. But yes,
right. As France, definitely with a native scout, but that Freitag is gonna spot the stable.
Oh, so nice! Freitag coming in strong there. So he's got the info he needs, and as a result, he's in a fine spot.
Yeah, pretty good. And anyway, it's just a stable start for boss players. So that's just like as standard as you can get in this matchup. And it always feels a bit Germany favored in Colonial when boss players are going for Cav, just because, well, you just get extra Ulans.
Yeah, so I tend to Musk start against Germany, just place Musks near my hunts and try and defend, but they always seem to kill Vils no matter what you do. Ulans are just really good at raiding. I think he's going to find that scout there. Even if it goes into the stealth mode, he can pursue it down with the Explorer. How do you feel about splitting off the Explorer and one Ulan just to finish that off and sending the rest to the opponent's base?
I think it's solo HP. You can just find it with your Explorer.
Oh, that's fair, and send all of the Ulan back to the base. It hasn't really done anything. GUA being sort of quite conservative, despite having... this one's stuck. I'm not sure what that's about, but having more Ulans and France just, with only 5 Hussar, you can really sort of be quite confident, but choosing not to do that...
I think it's maybe because he's aging directly from 700 gold, and he maybe expects a second batch of Cav from France.
Doesn't want to get caught out in the open.
Pushing, but anyway, regardless of that, there is a window where you have like 7 or 9 Ulans, and France has 5 Hussars, and you can just go poke a bit, try to kill CDB, get some idle time in, siege down a little bit the training post. I don't know, just keep your opponent under pressure. And he didn't do that. That's true. And they are both gonna age at the same time, but Kaister got one more shipment in because of that trading post. I think just he got the extra XP from it.
Yeah, and Germany's slightly slower XP curve as well, but that's fine. GiveUAnxiety. He's sort of is the wood on? I wonder if the wood's on the way. It's always awkward getting up without the wood being available, and then you have to sort of chop.
He's shipping wood now.
and that means he's not going to have a shipment for a long time.
Yeah.
So I guess there's two options here, right? You either send the 700 wood in slow age, or you age fast like usual, but put villagers on the wood. It seems like sending the 700 wood slows you down by a tremendous amount.
Yeah. For me, there's just two options. Either you don't send 700 wood, or you send it before 700 coin. At least as Germany. You can't, like, your shipment's coming a bit slowly. You can't just do that. Like, now he's got 700 wood coming on the field just when he's up, you know, and it's an H2 shipment. It's not horrible just because 700 wood is a very strong shipment anyway. But, you know, it's not optimal. He also gets one less Ulan. It's one more reason to not do it as Germany, because he just deleted one Ulan by shipping an H2 shipment.
But what do you think he should have done at that position, right? Because you're saying send them the other way around, which is fair enough. But do you wait and send 1,000 wood? But 1,000 wood is just really risky, and then you can't be building your racks and your houses like he is now. You'd be waiting for it. Or do you just gather the wood and just send military anyway and just, you know, just suck it up and put settler wagons on the trees?
There's a lot of ways to do it, but one way would be to ship 1k wood first, yeah, which would be okay. But honestly, I would just ship 700 wood before 700 coin anyway in this matchup, but that's just out of experience in this matchup. I know you can do it. Or you can just totally skip the wood crates and just ship units. Like, that would be the reward for aging that early, like going for 2 cards to my FF and being up quite early, just shipping your units directly and being aggressive. And using your extra Ulans to be aggressive.
Kaister now doing what GiveUAnxiety did here. It looks like gonna start with 1,000 wood, which is quite a greedy card, but it's gonna drop a town center over here next to this mine and this hunt, and try and get his eco going early. Looks like though I don't think GiveUAnxiety is gonna spot it, because these goons. He finds. Is it gonna be denied?
I don't know.
Oh no! There's an Ulan on here. Second Ulan is definitely going down.
No, it's not. There's goons.
But it's surely dead. Yeah. It's gonna...
Yeah, but, you know, if he can kill 2 Ulans and buy back his Explorer, which he just did, it's an okay trade, right? If he can kill the 2 Ulans. But the problem is that now he's losing CDBs here. I mean, he lost 1 CDB. He could kill a second one. Yeah. Kaister is gonna lose 2 CDBs here. But back to this little discussion we had about the build-up. Now imagine if he didn't go for 700 wood, but he just went for a unit shipment.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
For 1k wood, he would have such a big window to do some damage.
Yeah.
And now Germany going for 1k wood after 700 wood. It's gonna have way too much wood now.
Well, I think he saw that town center and thought, I want some of that, and he sends 1,000 wood of his own just to match it. Fairly, like, even if we go to units lost, they've both lost similar villages and military here. Kaister is slightly further behind, 2 CDBs down.
Yeah.
But, I wonder what he'll do with that wood. I think GUA, he did this in the previous game. He made a town center. Perhaps he can... his explorers out in the middle of the map here. But I expect him to put down a town center because, you know, you're saying, well, you're just going to have too much wood with 1,000 wood, right? So surely you need to spend it on something that's expensive in terms of wood, and that would be a town center. But not ideal. Is Explorer a bit out of the way here, and the goon's going to track him down and destroy Martin Christiasen. And that means town centers are not going to be going up just yet, or if they are, 100 gold will have to be paid.
Well... You can, if you ship 1k wood like that and you have so much wood, you kind of need to ship 1k coin after, just to spam a lot of units out of your buildings, because you need a way to fill that population space you got.
Yeah, he hasn't built a second stable or barracks, so still on the just one building each.
You can also get amalgamation. It's a good upgrade for Germany, since you have so many villas on gold. But usually I manage to just spend all my wood in houses by just messing a lot. But for that, you need the 1k coin. And I don't know, like, GiveUAnxiety is just floating a lot of wood. He's, I don't know what he's doing with his wood, actually.
He's just built he's got... I wonder if we'll see a second military building, or maybe he'll just gather slightly a bit more for a town center to match it. I don't know if it's worth necessarily... It's interesting. We'll see what he does with the wood. Looks like, though, the Ulans, they are veteran, trying to come in here. The Dragoons coming out. If he can...
He can't do that. I think the Uhlans are just gonna melt here. Minutemen can be called as well. There's some goons popping. I think it's kind of a waste of Uhlans. They just drop so fast to Dragoons.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, um, a bit too bold from GiveUAnxiety here, I think. It's I don't know, it wasn't the worst trade, but it doesn't look very good for Germany. He's gonna have to pull back now for sure.
Yeah,
He keeps fighting though, which I don't really understand. Still no Minutemen, by the way.
Yeah. It's 25 skirms to Kaister and 20-ish to GiveUAnxiety. A few more have just been trained, but they're not in this fight just yet. And with the Dragoons firing as well in the villages, and 3 CDBs, pardon me, Curera's coming out as on top, as well as TC fire, although there's no Vils in here. That is just not looking good for GUA.
Yeah.
Kaister in a solid position now. Is taking out all of that army. He has a second town centre.
Yeah.
He's got steel traps and amalgamation on these French villages. And with that superior unit count, is in an absolutely brilliant position to go out and just claim the whole map. He's going to force GUA away from this coin and just force him all the way back home. And this is going to be a very, very difficult game. Suddenly a great position for Green to be in.
Yeah, it's like this second TC is not very relevant early on. It's like, if anything, the TC early on is just a burden. Like, you need to spend food on making builds, you need to spend wood to build the TC, and you're up against Germany, who has like potentially more units than you. But now that he cleaned up, the second TC is gonna pay off just so much. Like, it's just a very good position for Kaister to be in. He doesn't need to even push. Like, I actually don't like that. That's just taking risks for no reason. He's got more units, he's got more eco, he can just keep booming with his second on center and just play it slowly.
Equally though, right? Like, he's not pushing just yet. He's sort of standing on these hunts and coin mines. This is just as aggressive as he needs to be, although is coming in now.
It's just a bit risky. I mean, he's probably gonna be fine, right? But I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't do that. It's just taking risks for nothing, in my opinion. But he's retreating, so indeed he didn't take too many risks here. He's gonna be fine. He's just kind of controlling the map with his units. But you know what I mean when I say it's risky. It's just, you know, these German unit shipments is getting 9 Uhlans now, and just suddenly a bunch of Uhlans coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna be enough. Kaister got this fight. He's got calf combat, he's got enough goons. The 3 Kriers are gonna tank forever, just block the Uhlans. And the Uhlans are just gonna melt to the calf combat dragoons, and it's gonna be GG.
Wow, they really did melt. Like, they're just gone already. Uhlans such they're not high HP units, are they? They really
very situational unit, not very good against range units overall.
And it looks like Kaister will progress through to the round of 32.
Oh yeah.
GiveUAnxiety drops down to the lower bracket. His tournament life is not over just yet, but it does make it a bit harder going forward to get all the way through. I'm not sure GiveUAnxiety really thought he would make it all the way, but it is definitely more difficult to get to that final 8 to be invited to the LAN tournament at the end of these qualifiers. But yes, congratulations to Kaister. Does pick up the 3-1 victory after a first defeat in that first game. But how do you feel then? Maybe GiveUAnxiety brings out the big guns a bit too soon. He brought out the British in game 1 and...
I don't know. I think this is just, he's just lacking a bit of experience with some like more standard European civs. Like, I mean, Brits is quite standard, but you know what I mean. Like with Germany and with France, it felt like he was always shipping 1k wood, going a bit too greedy, and just like, I don't know how to say it, kind of misplaying it. I think it was fine that he went Brits in game 1, but then he needs to follow up with something. Just felt like, actually, it's a game where GiveUAnxiety won, where he went aggressive as Brits, and the other 3 games he didn't really go aggressive. As India, he was sitting on his aggro fort. As France, he went for a second TC, and as Germany, he shipped 700 and 1k wood in H3 instead of like 2 unit shipments, for example. So
yeah,
I think he should have maybe stick to his aggressive playstyle a bit more. He was maybe not confident enough to be aggressive. I don't know.
I mean, he was probably in a fine position. This town center went up, and had he not just rammed all his units in there, maybe it's okay.
Yeah, that's
hindsight is a wonderful thing.
But even so, against Sioux, against Sioux, you automatically have more eco as friends, and you don't really need a second TC. What you need is hunts, so you might as well make units and just defend your hunts instead of like building a TC. But yeah, anyway, was kind of like a small upset, yeah. But a good series anyway.
Yeah, but that is it from us on the ESOC